Hello, welcome to my channel, Miles and Coffee. I am Beverly. Thanks for joining me today. As you can see from the title in the thumbnail, this particular topic is just par for discussion everywhere because by now, I'm sure that you have heard that July 2023 is the hottest month on record. What does that mean? The implications are it's hot everywhere. Now, if those of you who are familiar to this channel, you know that I am an expat living in Mexico, and I happen to live in one of the hotter states, which is Baja California Sur. So today's article that I'll read and share with you will mention one of the most popular destinations for Americans right now. And so I thought I'd share it with you, but there are tips that will help anyone who is traveling, abroad or anywhere. And there are some very pertinent tips to help you to stay safe. I hope that you will keep them in mind and share them. So without further ado, let's get started. This channel is all about travel. So anything that I find helpful, I like to share with my viewers. If you don't mind, I'll put my readers on and you can read along with me. This headline, blackouts still plaguing Los Cabos, and here are 7 tips to stay safe. Okay, so of course you know that I have done many videos and longer videos about Cabo San Lucas, San Jose del Cabo, in those areas 2 hours south from me. Of course, I'm in La Paz, but this whole area, the southern Baja California Sur, is very popular with tourists, and there have recently been blackouts, especially in Cabo. I have not experienced any, but I have heard of blackouts in the more remote areas of La Paz. Okay, so let's look at some of these tips and figure out what we can do in case there's a blackout when we are traveling. All right, tip number 1, stay at a large resort. The larger resorts are just as likely to lose power during an outage as anywhere else, but they also typically have more sophisticated generators. While these generators might not be able to power the entire property, they will be able to keep the most important things running. This might include the refrigeration systems, air conditioning, and lights. That is a very important tip. That if you're traveling, especially now during the summer and during this period where it looks like global warming is here to stay, then you might want to look into some of the larger brand name resorts that will be able to handle a power outage and have contingency plans in place. Let's look at tip number 2. You can read along with me. Find ways to stay cool. If you are in a hotel or vacation rental, and this one in particular is Los Cabos, that loses power for an extended period of time, it's important to find ways to stay cool. Often the outages are a result of extreme temperatures, so if you lose air conditioning, you're going to be pretty uncomfortable. Find a shady location outside, take a swim at the beach if it's safe, drink plenty of bottled water, or jump in a pool if there's one where you're staying and if it is safe to do so. That's another very good tip, that if you can find a way to stay cool, swimming, find a piece of shade and write it out. These are tips to help you in case you're in a blackout. And I think that is excellent. And don't forget the water. Keep plenty of water on hand. Okay, Here, tip number 3, avoid vehicle travel if possible. Often when there is a power outage, the traffic lights go down too. That did happen in Los Cabos, okay? This can cause a considerable amount of chaos, as it recently did in the case of the power outages in Cabo San Lucas and San Jose del Cabo. Accidents are known to happen as a result, and at the very least, traffic jams are common when traffic lights are down. So you might want to avoid vehicle travel if you can. That is another really good tip about the fact that in the event of a blackout, that we know that traffic lights can be affected. And also in the Cabo San Lucas area, again, high demand, high population of tourists, and that causes a lot of traffic, okay? So there's an increased amount of traffic, and think about all of that and what that entails in the event of a blackout. But again, I'm reading an article from the Cabo San Lucas Sun-Times, but these tips can apply to you anywhere you travel, okay? Let's go to the next tip, and I believe this is tip number 4. Keep your devices charged. You still want to be able to contact loved ones and report an emergency if the power goes out. So it's important to keep your devices charged. The flashlight on your phone will also come in handy if the power goes out at night, as it will help you get around safely in the dark. Furthermore, you may be able to continue to use your devices while the power is out, or use them for leisure time, provided you still have service, or you can use your devices without it. That's another good tip. I've taken to, when I was in Chiapas, I lived near Central, and almost once a month, the power would go down, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But this is known to happen in Mexico anyway, okay? Power outages in various locations. The more remote the location, the more it is likely to happen. But I took to making sure that my phone was charged at all times, up to 100% or as close. I'm not as good at that now, but I need to keep that in mind. So especially when you travel, it's important to keep your phone, your devices, whatever devices you have with you, keep them charged. Okay, now let's go to the next step. Throw away perishable food from the fridge. Whether you're staying in a vacation rental or in a luxury all-inclusive resort, you might have perishable items in your fridge. If the power is out for an extended period of time, it's crucial that you discard anything that can spoil and make you sick. The last thing you want is to become ill in a foreign country, hundreds of miles from home. Okay, now this is a common sense tip that we know when we are at home in a power outage, or when the lights go out or whatever, to throw away food. But even more so when you are out traveling and you're away from home on vacation, this is paramount. We know to do this at home, but when we're traveling, these are things we also want to keep in mind because of this global warming and the ramifications of things that are happening due to the climate change. Oh, this next tip is very good. Listen to this one. You can read along with me. Be careful where you dine. In addition to avoiding food that's gone bad in your own fridge, it's also important to be careful where you dine. Many smaller restaurants don't have generators to keep the refrigerators running. So if the power is out for an extended period of time, some food items can become dangerous, especially in hotter temperatures. Getting sick again should be avoided at all costs so you can get back to enjoying your Los Cabos vacation once the power comes back on. Again, a very good tip. Food safety and whether the food has been kept fresh, whether the refrigerators have been able to keep running, whether things are safe to eat, these are tips that we have to think about when we're traveling, okay? I hope that you will share this video with friends and family who are traveling anywhere, for that matter, anywhere, because of the heat. And there are places that have had instances of blackouts for however long. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And what did we forget? I just read 7 important tips from this particular article. But if you have more tips that you can share, or more things that we need to be aware of when we're traveling and there might be a blackout, would you please share in the comments below? I read them. Visitors to the channel do read them, and subscribers do read them. Speaking of subscribers, I want to say thank you again for those of you who have been along with my journey. And if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. And again, consider subscribing if you are here visiting, because this channel is where I share my experience living as an expat in Mexico. I'm going to also mention that at a later date, probably closer to the anniversary, I made a mistake and said that I'm approaching my 3-year, I can't believe it, but I'm approaching 4 years in Mexico, 2 years in this city, 2 years in another city. So upon my anniversary, I think I will start another channel. I'm getting more and more inquiries about what I do as a TEFL teacher. And some of you who are our full-time teachers in the States are asking me how to do that so that you have something to fall back on when you travel or for retirement. I will start another channel dedicated to TEFL teaching and information related to that. So if you're interested in that, also leave a comment below. Thank you so much. And we always end by saying, please take it one day at a time in this heat, you guys, and keep it simple and be safe. God bless you. Until next time on Miles and Coffee.
Before you go, I forgot to actually read tip number 7, unplug electronics before power returns. Along with blackouts comes the risk of power surges when the electricity is restored. These power surges can cause other problems, particularly for your electronics, as they can fry the equipment, especially if you're not using a surge protector. You can best protect your electronics by unplugging them as soon as the power goes out and waiting to plug them back in once power is restored.